So I'm going to take you through using one of our acrylic pieces to make a little letter design. In your little kit that you have, you'll have your pattern, needle, an acrylic piece, and some wool. Now, you may also want to grab some scissors. If you're a child, you may want to have adult supervision to use your scissors, and a pen can be quite helpful to cross off your pattern as you finish it. Now, first, let's quickly look at our pattern. So the first thing you're going to have to do is pick which letter you're going to do. So for this one, I'm going to choose the letter B. You'll have a little key down here, which basically just says that you're going to stitch the X's and you're going to leave blank the squares. So if you look at your pattern, you have the squares, which all the squares are just all the squares that are on your acrylic piece. So each square is made up of 4 round circles, and that is 1 square on your pattern. Now you're going to leave the ones that are just black squares blank, so you're not going to stitch those, and you're only going to stitch the ones with little X's. So you're going to stitch the ones with X's. So first thing to do is to grab a piece of your wool and thread your needle. So I find it quite helpful to thread your needle by just folding the wool over, and then you have a little loop to thread through the eye of your needle. Once your needle is threaded, you can tie a knot at the end to stop it from coming through from the back, but I'll show you my preferred technique for catching the end of the thread so you don't have to have knots in the back of your work. Now, first things first, make sure that the hole that is at the top for hanging this piece once it's finished is actually at the top before you start stitching. Now we're going to look at our letter B and see that we have 1 square blank here and then 2 square blanks at the top. So we need to make sure that we go across 2 and down 1 to stitch the first square of our stitch. So we're going to go across 2, so this is 1, 2, so there's 1 square, 2 square, and then we're going to start 1 down, which is in this square here. So we're going to pull our wool through until there's about a 2 or 3 centimetre tail at the back. Now I'm going to hold that in place while I go back to the front and put the wool through the diagonally opposite hole. So you've got your top right hole here. And I'm going to put my needle through there and pull it through until I have the first half of my cross. So it's going from the bottom left to the top right. I'm going to flip my work over and make sure that tail doesn't go back through. And I want to put my needle through this hole here that's right below the one that the wool is coming out of. Now I want to make sure it goes over this piece of thread that is the tail so that it catches the thread underneath and holds it securely so that it's not going to fall out. And once you've done that, you can flip it back over. And now your needle is coming through this bottom right hole here, and you want to send it back through this top left hole here. And then you've got your first cross. Now we're going to go and look at our pattern, and we're going to get our pen, and we're going to mark off this one that we've done here. So we've done that one, and now we need to do the rest of this row here, so we can count how many we have to do. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stitches more to do. So we're going to go back and do from the bottom left here to the top right. And then we're going to go bottom right to top left, and that's another 1 done. So then we're going to cross that one off as done. Then we're going to do it again. 1 through here, through here, and then get caught, you just have to untangle it, and then we've done that one. Now I'm just going to keep going until I finish this thread, and then I will show you how to end your thread. So now I've only got a little bit of wool left. I'm going to finish my piece of thread. And to finish my piece of thread, all I need to do is run the needle under a few of the stitches at the back. And this just catches that tail to make sure it's not going to become unraveled. And once I've done that, pulled it tight, I can grab my scissors or get an adult to help me and snip off the excess wool there. And this is from our original tail. I can also snip that off as well. Now I'm going to grab another piece of wool and just continue creating my letter B. So I'm going to thread my needle again, popping that wool through the eye of the needle, and then to start the thread this time, instead of catching the tail, I'm just going to use the same technique I just did for finishing my thread to start this new one by running it under a few stitches at the back and then pulling that through and leaving a small tail there so that I don't pull it all the way through and lose that catch. So now I'm going to finish stitching this row here and just keep following my pattern until I've finished my letter. Now once you've finished your design, you can grab a piece of your leftover wool and you can thread it through the hole at the top and create a nice little hanging decoration.